Alright, hi everyone, I'm ZELLLOOO, however you want to say it, never matters to me. This is Cytus Alpha, Cytus being a mobile rhythm game released back in 2012, and thankfully we got a very good Switch remake of the game called Cytus Alpha back in 2019. That's what you're going to see today. We're going to have a fun little showcase with that. I'm joined by my lovely wife, HaruKaze.
That's me.
She'll be doing the commentary for this. But this is a really, really fun music game. We don't get to really show off mobile music games on Switch that often because they're very difficult to capture. I actually have just a webcam right over my Switch. It's really the only good way to capture this. But this is a really, really fun game. So I'll give you a quick overview of how this showcase is going to work. This game has 10 normal chapters, all with a bunch of songs, and then it also has a bunch of DLC and some other stuff. We're going to play one song from each of the normal chapters, and then we will play just a few extra things after that. So it's going to cover about 40 minutes or so of content, so we'll have some fun with that. I do have a set list here. So we'll go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, let me explain the gameplay real quick. So this game was made as loose clone of DJ Max Technica. While Technica has two separate lines with a line, Cytus Alpha combines two directions, so it takes a bit of time to get used. You can tell the direction by the line going up or down and also by the color of notes. It's a bit less visible in Alpha and a bit more visible in original Cytus version, at least for me. So Cytus has three types of notes. You see tap notes or clicks mostly in this song, and there are also holds which you have to press at the beginning and keep your finger until the line reaches the end of the hold. Now you see the third type of the note, drag notes, which you have to slide with your finger from the beginning to the end. And gladly in Cytus Alpha you don't have to actually press the beginning of drag notes, so you just slide around as needed. The first song is Light Up My Love by Annie, which is alias for Honor Ken. You may know this name from other music games, but in Cytus, at least in first Cytus, he mostly went by Annie. And this song was in Cytus from the very beginning, even before the chapters were introduced. Let me talk about the chapters a bit. So originally Cytus didn't have any chapters, it was just a folder of songs, and then they devised a million plan. So every 100,000 purchases they would unlock a free chapter, total of 10, and they also were all connected with the story of the game. But if you wanted the chapter slightly earlier, you could purchase it for money, like a DLC.
Oh, we got a million master score right off the bat. That's a good start. So we have a scoring-based system. You have two types of scoring. You have the points, which is a million. You get a million master with your max out and get all perfects. There's also the TP system. I got a 99.56, which is pretty okay. Tara can talk about that during the next song coming up.
Yes, so TP was also introduced not from the very beginning because Cytus has pretty loose timing windows and players decided it was too easy, so they wanted a harder timing window. It's a bit hard to tell the difference, but you get used to it with the time. There are two kinds of perfects, regular perfect and colored perfects. They have slightly different flashes. So if you get all perfects, you get a million master, but to get 100% TP, you need to get all rainbow perfects, which are tighter. Cytus also has combo scoring, so if you break combo in the middle of the song, you lose a lot of score. And this is a song Iris by Star. You may know Star if you were playing mobile games for a long time. He's the person behind Tonsphere, a very, very pretty game, and he made pretty much everything for it. But he also worked a lot with Cytus early on. We'll see. If you get the game, you will see a lot of his songs in here. So this chart and previous chart, they were actually changed at some point because very early charts did not flow all that well.
This game has such a variety in its song list, and there's something for everybody.
Yeah, I really like how the first Cytus had such a huge variety in genre and composers. I feel like Cytus 2 is slightly more unified in what they do with the songs.
So, only one good there. That's fine. I had a really quick little mistake. That happens.
Yeah. So in this game, there are two difficulties, and difficulty scale goes from 1 to 9. And since the scale is so tight, there are 9s that are very easy and 9s that are pretty much impossible.
Even like the 7s and 8s are variable. This is one of my favorite ones to play, just as a song, but also as a chart.
Yeah, it's a very fun song. It's very upbeat. And also was featured in the Tone Sphere, which I mentioned before. Yeah, so since the song is called Otome, which is girl in Japanese, we have a girl in the background. I honestly do not know if she has a name. I really like all the art in Cytus. They hired so many great artists to make all the original art for this.
Do you want to get into the story already, or are we going to leave that for a little bit later?
Oh, no, we couldn't get in the story. So the story is sometime in the future, people devised a technology where they could transfer memories into computer. And the main protagonist of this game is Vanessa. She does not realize she's a robot, and then when she realizes, she struggles with deciding what she wants to do with herself.
I feel like that's so important to just kind of think about, considering this story is over a decade old. But it's really, even a robot can decide to think about human things.
Well, I didn't mention the most important part of the story. They transferred memories because there was a virus that was supposed to eliminate the whole humanity in 2012. They predicted stuff. Yeah, we get more about the virus story part in Cytus 2. Cytus 2 story is like really huge, there's a lot about it. In Cytus 1 it was relatively simple, and you can also read lots of diary entries and log memories. There is like a special section of the game for that. You get new piece of lore every time you unlock a new chapter.
Why don't you talk about BMS for a second?
Yeah, so I checked how you spell it in Greek. This is Parousia, sung by Psy, and it was a third place contest winner for BMS of Fighters in 2011. So BMS of Fighters is a contest where indie artists compose music and make step charts for them. Well, not step charts, finger charts. BMS is a custom clone of Beatmania 2DX as far as I know. And many artists who participated in BMS got really popular and now featured in other rhythm games.
This is one of my favorite old Psy songs. One of
It
the
is
ones
a-
that I feel like has his identity really rooted in.
Yeah, it is really pretty. And it's very epic. Yeah, so as I mentioned, you don't have to press the head of the drag node. As you saw, ZELLLOOO just continued sliding even though there was two separate drags.
The really tricky thing about playing this game, especially in a marathon showcase, is I'm kind of at an angle to look at the screen, so my fingers might not be exactly where they think they are. That's the hard part about playing mobile music games like this.
Yeah, it's also a bit tricky. You need to figure out how to position your hands so you don't miss the notes when your hands cover over them.
Like how I got that bad. So as you can see, even just one bag cut down my score by quite a bit, like over 35k. So that's really how much the combo scoring matters for the base score.
Yeah, sometimes in games like this you just have to memorize or at least be able to predict by music and like general sense where the note would be. Everything is sight readable, but it's definitely easier to know what's going on. This is a song by another very famous composer, Tsukasa. You may know this name if you play DJ Max. And they always make really great music.
Barely caught that in time. I was actually reversed the order of some notes and got some good, but it's okay.
Yeah, so this is slightly harder. This is 8, and we get into multitasking a lot when hands do in different rhythms, so you have to have good control of both of your hands.
Nice break section at least. That's what I was afraid of. We will fix that in just a second then. We will fix that in just a second. Hey, you really did need that miss at the end, but that's okay. We'll see if we can fix that audio. We'll hopefully be right back.
All right. All right, so just a little bit of a break, just to double check the sync between the visuals and the audio. But how awesome is that so far? I mean, the fingers, oh my gosh, they're moving so quick. And I mean, getting the perfect and finding out that there's like an even more perfect, like, dang. And oh my gosh, we're getting a raid from Games Done Quick. Hello. What's up, everybody coming in? Hello, we are Speed Stuff for Charity. we are doing a collaboration event with Asian Speedrunners Alliance. So, got some speedrunning community love here. Hello, hello. We are back, and we are collaborating with Asian Speedrunners Alliance to celebrate the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. We've been going since yesterday with all sorts of different runs. Right now we are in a little rhythm game block showcase. We're currently doing Cytus Alpha with ZELLLOOO. Just having a little bit of break as we work on some audio sync tune-ups, but we do welcome you over. Speed Stuff for Charity is a team that's dedicated to raising money for charities. We've raised over $15,000 since this group started a decade ago, and we definitely plan to keep going. We've benefited St. Jude's, Doctors Without Borders, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and more. And if you want to support us, we do have some sub goals. We're gonna play some Resident Evil Requiem later, and currently I think we're 10 subs away from unlocking the good ending run for that. And we do have some discounted gift subs. If you gift 5 or more subs, it's a 35% off discount for those. So but if you're not able to sub, just spreading the word around of this event is just as helpful. Telling your friends, posting links, and sharing our schedule. However, really helps us a lot, so thank you. You can use !partners to check out some of our partners. Let me tell you about Tempest Stream Productions. So Tempest Stream Productions, they work with you to create the perfect store by elevating your event with the broadcast setup that you need. You can go to their website and learn about the Quad, which is their groundbreaking competitive broadcasting format that allows for simultaneous streaming and recording of multiple game feeds at the same time. Like, wow, there's a lot already happening there. And you can check out their portfolio. You can see what makes them an ideal choice to run your events, stream events. Okay, so it looks as though we're all ready to continue some Cytus Alpha. Let's go on over and check out ZELLLOOO and commentator Haru.
Alrighty, we are back. I'm so sorry about that, everyone. Hopefully the delay is okay between audio and video. If it's not, we'll figure it out. Let's keep going with this showcase right here. Go back to song select. So we finished a chapter 5 song, so we'll move into chapter 6 next, which that's a really, really fun song to play. I always do like the rock style songs. They're a good fit for this one.
It's a really fun song.
Can you talk a little bit about the scan line and why it's a fixed BPM?
Because they didn't know how to make it not fixed BPM at that point. Like, they were just developing a game like this, and there was nothing like really except DJ Max Technica, which works slightly differently. But in some songs, the BPM is halved, so it scrolls really slow. But gladly in Cytus 1 and Alpha there is no speed ups or slow downs. There are some in Cytus 2, and they are painful. Also, don't try to figure out where exactly is the beat on the screen. It's a bit weird. Sometimes there's like 3 beats.
It's really chart dependent. It just depends on how they wrote it. There we go. Another Million Master in the bag. That's nice. That's a fun one to play. It's generally, like, execution-wise, it's not too hard of a 7, but the BPM is a little fast. So, like we kind of mentioned with the scan line, you get to keep up with it, and there's not really anything you can do about it. It's not. There's no like way to change speeds.
They don't let you use any kind of spin mods because the chart is hard-coded to the positions on the screen. So you just stuck with whatever they decided to do.
Like this for gate of expectancy. This one's a little weird.
I kind of like mid fast, not as fast as Freedom Dive, but
Freedom Dive is absurdly fast.
yeah, this one is good for me personally. It's also a really weird song structure-wise. It takes a long time to start and then it just goes hard.
I would imagine this came from a full version, and they have to get things cut down into 2-minute chunks usually.
I don't remember if I ever found a full version of this one. Yeah, this is like kind of drunk pop rock, and you don't really hear much of this in music games. I guess metal.
I got something you can talk about. Why are the beats not lined up here? Because, hey, there's the tempo change right here. And it's basically a different song altogether.
Yep. Did it go from 3/4 to 4/4?
Something like that.
You can tell who's a musician in the family. I still can't only determine like easy tempos, and I can't find like 5/4 or harder than that.
Try to fight it in the darkness. I will survive by the twilight. Angels in air surrounding me. The salt of that speaks divine. Burning my blood, draw the weapons. Capture the light in my.
I kind of wish we had more songs like this in modern music games in general.
Me too.
That's because the song's so long. There's a lot of notes.
Yeah, I think up until version 9 of original Cytus, the song had the most notes in this chart, and most notes in the chart that is not 9.
Yeah, for an 8, that's a lot of notes. It's actually kind of absurd.
It's not even the longest song.
No, there are some really long songs that we're not going to see
There's
here.
like
That's actually a PB, nice.
There is a slow guitar song in chapter 7 that's 3.5 minutes, and there is always Vanessa that is 7 minutes.
Yeah, we're not going to get into those. But I did PB on that. I already had the Million Master, but I a higher TP score, so that was really nice to get. We're gonna play Slit next. This one's one of my favorite songs, and there's actually a little bit more behind it that we'll get to at the very end.
I actually learned today that the girls in the background have names. I didn't read their story though, but their names are Olivia and Isabel. And apparently the symbol of circle with a slit is made of their initials combined. That's very cute.
It's also one of my favorite charts to play. It's a little harder to play when your hands are slightly sweaty. It's hard to do drag notes that way.
Yeah, for games like this, you need A, hands that are not sticky, and B, very good screen protector. You want it not too sticky and not too slippery. I personally prefer playing on iPad because my fingers are naturally sticky and I get way stickier on Switch than on iPad. But said in our original Cytus there's less content because a couple of chapters were only released in Cytus Alpha, like Digimax chapter.
Since you're using your fingers a lot, do they get sore afterwards?
Thankfully in this game they don't really get sore. Like, this is a lot less intense than a lot of other finger games I've played in the past. So it's really not too bad. It's actually my back that gets hurt the most because I'm always hunched over looking at the screen. So I don't play this for like long periods of time.
My neck and shoulders hurt
sense.
most. I also feel like keyboard games are harder for me because my fingers are like stuck in the same position. Here you move your fingers and it's easier somehow.
Alright, we're gonna come up to one of the most difficult 8s for me. I love this song to death, but I'm not good at it.
It's pretty tricky 8.
It is one of my favorite artists, though.
Yeah, it's sung by Cytus, and it's also one of the top contenders from BMS of Fighters, 2010 to be exact. Cytus composes really pretty music and he's also known for some meme songs, like Destroyer. But in this game you just have to press inside the circle, you don't have to be extremely accurate because there are some games like Re-Rave that also not only check your accuracy timing wise but also position on screen wise, so you have to hit inside a very tiny circle. Sometimes you can use it to your advantage and just fat finger some stuff and still get perfect.
I like how you mentioned Fat Finger because that was exactly how I got those 2 bats. I ended up rolling over into a note that was on the other side of the lane. You got to be really careful with your inputs in this game, otherwise you do what I did.
Yeah, especially when 2 notes are close to the edge where the line changes direction.
All right, we've got one more song out of the main chapters we're going to do. This is one of my favorite songs, not just of this game, but from this artist in particular. Why don't you talk about Vospi for a second?
So Waspy is a known player of music games, and he also composes lots of music. This was one of the songs he submitted when Rayar called for composers to submit their music to the games. Waspy is known mostly for composing drum and bass, and his bass lines are really strong and nice sounding. I think this is one of the easier 9s. Definitely easier than the 8 that Warlord of Atlantis was.
The drags are tricky though.
I think I would rather do the drag than long runs on rails. It's a skill issue, I guess.
Have to be really careful not to cover notes like I just did right there. This one's really more about the reading and make sure you don't accidentally cover other notes.
It's about paying attention. The more you play the chart, the more you learn which hand to use. In some places where it's pretty ambiguous which hand to start with. Like those slides at the bottom of the screen. I usually start them with the left, so it gives me a better view of the notes.
I always love how that song ends. It's so fun.
Yeah, since Waspy plays music games, he knows how to structure a good song that would be fitting and would make an interesting chart.
Yeah, he's done a lot of good originals and a lot of really good licensed stuff for other games. All right, so that's all of the main chapters. We're going to go into the first 2 DLC chapters for a second. So in Cytus Alpha, all of the DLC chapters are included with the base game, so you actually get quite a bit of content just buying Alpha by itself. So it's like 250 songs plus, which is really nice.
Yeah, you just have to unlock them by pretty much playing the game, fill in the songs.
House of Cards is also one of my favorite songs.
So this is a prologue chapter, and it was first introduced in a version of Cytus for PlayStation Mobile, which is sadly not available anymore. It was called Cytus Lambda. It's a bit tricky to play charts with non-trivial rhythms like this one when you don't have rhythm-colored skin. Requires a bit of experience to judge what type of note it is just by the distance.
This chart also takes a more complementary approach with its rhythm, so you have to like know when it actually directly follows and when it decides to do its own thing. Just the tricky part.
I'm a visual player. I see notes, I press them.
there's an Million Master at least. It wasn't very clean TP wise, but hey, we got the score that I matter about most.
Yeah, this one is not too bad to get a median, but to get TP you have to be slightly more precise with the rhythms.
Pretty hard. Why don't you talk about the Symphony chapter just in general while I start?
It's a great chapter. I love it. I think this and Night are my favorite DLC chapters. So each song is a remix of a classical tune. This one in particular is a remix of Dies Irae from Mozart's Requiem. And some remixes in this chapter are not very much what you'd expect. There is like dubstep Hungarian dance remix. Those always makes me laugh. And this chart, it's a 9. It's a very hard 9. There's a lot going on, lots of multitasking where hands doing different things. So you have to be very, very careful with what exactly you're doing and just practice a lot, I guess. Yeah, I never can beat like 9.5. I always get at least one miss on this one, somewhere in the middle.
I did not Million Master it until I was practicing for this showcase. It's quite difficult.
All the 9s in this chapter are very, very difficult.
That's kind of how it is for all of the DLC chapters and all the secret songs, which we'll get to after this.
I think at Night, most of the charts are pretty easy. But also DLCs were made much later than some of the early chapters, so they learned how to make more difficult stuff and how to make it flow and make sense.
Yeah, as difficult as this, it's really fun to play.
Since this game is pretty much one of a kind, they had to figure out everything on the go. And I think they did a really great job. Like, Cytus 2 is still active, it gets updates and has pretty big player base.
So I mentioned secret songs, so we're gonna play 2 of those to close this showcase out. You have to do a little bit of something in order to access each of them. So let's go back to Slit for a second. We're gonna go back to chapter 8.
Yeah, in earlier chapters, like the background kind of hints you what you have to do. In some others, you don't know. You either just try different things or you have to look it up online.
So this one actually has 2 hidden songs. We're going to play one of them. So you might notice that nice little slit going right through. What if I go this way? Hey, look, the start is a red now. That indicates you found a hidden song. So we're going to select this and we're going to play Slit 0. Why don't you talk a little bit about the lore of that?
Lore of what?
Slit.
I mean, all I know about lore of Slit is the characters, which I already talked about.
Well, there's one other thing about this song. So,
oh yeah,
Slit 0 and Slit 1.
So all parts of Slit are part of one full song. So if you just times them together, you get a just big one full song. I don't remember which order they go in though.
This chart's also really hard. All the 9s in secret songs are much harder than all the normal ones.
Most of the hidden charts are harder. I think there's one exception. I forgot which one. Verwerk. I think the hidden may be slightly easier. Sometimes hidden charts were added later, like first the song was added by itself and then they decided to use a different part or different remix, and make a more difficult chart. Sometimes it just comes as a set, like entrance or slit. They were like that from the very beginning.
So how many hidden songs are in the game?
Quite
bunch.
a few. Yeah, more than you'd expect.
I think there is at least one in every chapter. Some have up to 3, maybe 4. I forgot if
wow.
entrance and end in the same chapter. I think not.
That was actually an above average run for that. That's actually a personal best score-wise. I can't deny that because it's actually very difficult to get the ending, and I actually got the ending despite
Yeah, you
missing
can
the
see
beginning.
TP is very high and score is low just because the combo was broken.
Yeah. So we have one last song. We have one more hidden song right here. We're going to go into the retro chapter.
One more thing about hidden songs, you don't know what difficulty it is until you like get into the song.
Yeah, once you either there or on the song results. But we've got one other thing. So this is the retro chapter. This is all about like chip tunes and such. We have hayfields right here, and we're just going to tap on the statue on the left. And there, we're going to play Infinity Fields to close this out.
Yeah, this background hints to some of earlier songs, and the song itself also uses sounds from some games. Each song in this chapter has a subtitle related to like game stage. There is stage 1, stage 2, boss song. This chart is also very, very mean at the end. You will see why. You may also have noticed that this screen slightly moved. That happens when there are lots of slides and you don't have like really good baking. So, or sometimes you just go way too hard and your device moves.
It just happens with this game.
It happens to be even when I have like really, really good sticky backing. I just press my fingers really, really hard on the screen, just the way I play.
It doesn't help that my fingers are very sticky right now, so they're gonna move the screen a bit. But considering I had a very good start, I will take that.
At least you don't get owned by iPad notifications or like activating the menu when you get way too close to the side. I lost so many good runs when I accidentally activated the menu.
So this chart has two mean things at the very end. This game will actually let you overlap taps that are going different directions like this. And right here, too. And that's time.
Yeah,
gosh,
that last
wow.
stop, it had me so many times.
Everybody forgets about it unless you've played it a billion times. And then you tend to forget not about that, but then you forget how to play the beginning of the whole chart, which is already pretty difficult. Anyways, that is Cytus Alpha. I hope y'all enjoyed. This is one of my favorite music games to play. It's not very often I get to show this. And this is actually a really important showcase to me for this event, because this is the Asian Speedrunners Alliance showcase of everything. This game, the dev team at Rayark is actually Taiwanese-based, which is pretty interesting, so we get to have some representation there. But we also just get to have general representation from so many talented people around the entire world, and just being able to showcase and come together. And that's, I really appreciate the team taking this and letting me be able to do this with everyone else. So, big shout-outs to everyone at the SS4C team, everybody organizing the ASA event. Thank you, Haru, for being my wonderful wife and commentator for this, and our lovable plushie cats. Anything else you want to cap off on?
I don't know, not really.
Well,
If you can get this game, it's awesome. You can still get it on mobile. You can get the version on Switch if you have Switch One.
yeah, this game actually does have both digital and physical copies, and the physical copy, at least when I bought it at the time, comes with this amazing soundtrack CD, so it's definitely worth looking into if you're looking for something to get into. But otherwise, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all for watching, and we will pass it over to Fusano and the rest of the marathon. See y'all later.